All right, guys, we're live.
Oh, okay.
I thought you'd like that. So here we are. This is the No Faces comic chat. Today we are the Hands-On Comics Club. So you guys, well, what else are we going to be, right?
Nice.
Yeah, we try a little bit. I eased up on the alliteration just a tad this time around. So yeah, if anybody, we already have JPL Flash Comics Geekdom in the chat. There's a former special guest, and today we have a non-special guest. Not, not because I know it sounds terrible.
Rephrase that, Bub. Rephrase that.
I can listen. I racked my brain for 4 seconds coming up with anything I could say better than that. But basically, we have the special guest, and a special guest on the show is anyone who normally shows their face in videos, or at least has shown their face in videos before. Lindsay from Lindsay's Geeked Out Knickknacks does not generally show her face. I don't think she's ever shown her face. I seem to think that when I was binge watching her videos, when I first found her channel, I did see once she wore like a stormtrooper helmet in a video for like a contest entry. So I don't know if that counts, unless that's like permanently attached to her face, then I would say probably not. So
now, I got you one better. I saw her in a baseball card.
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's probably a kid though, right?
Yeah, it was about what, 10 years
So
old.
a couple years ago,
Well, cool. So, Lindsay, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, very glad to have you. And we have DS Comics back from his hiatus.
What's up? Yeah, I really missed it last week. I tried to tune in while I was driving back from the beach, and I couldn't get it working right, and so I just couldn't wait till I got home to listen to the replay. But yeah, I definitely missed you all last week.
Oh, we appreciate it. We miss you too. I know Roger. He was huddled up in a corner when I told him you weren't going to be on.
I was
crying in the fetal position
all night. Because you leaving me alone with Bub. Oh gosh, that was something.
Well, I take one vacation a year, so that's if you got a whole another year of me before you miss me for a week.
Like a month notice next time, and I'll be sick.
Oh, you guys leave me talking to myself.
Well, isn't that your favorite conversation anyway?
Quit it, Roger. You're interrupting me.
Yeah, Bob answers. What did you answer to my contest? I'm arguing with myself over who I'm picking for my dream team.
I am. I'm having a hard time. I really am.
Put up with Lindsay. You see what I got to put up with here?
Wow. Yeah, I know.
Take pity upon me, please. Oh man, we got the geeks in here. We got Area 51. Man, we got some Crimson Comic. How you doing, buddy? We got some heavy hitters tonight. See, Lindsay brings them in. Lindsay is,
That's right.
Well, what I try and do is in creating a balanced panel for each show, my goal generally is to take the number of subscribers that Roger has and the number of subscribers that DS has, add them together, multiply it by 3, and try and get that person as a guest. That's how we got to Lindsay.
You lost me after the multiplication part. That's too advanced math for me.
So tonight I thought we'd jump right into a couple of topics. Of course, it's like 5 minutes after the hour. Normally we're still in technical difficulty land, so this is nice. This is a new feeling. So we've got let's talk about some characters in comics. For me, as you know, my favorite character is Wolverine. It's pretty evident by my display and my channel name and other such things if you look around my room. And what I was really happy with when we had when I did my 250 subscriber contest and I had people do their room tour, I had an additional secret prize. So I had a 4th place prize if the person who won the most Wolverines in the room had beaten my number of Wolverines, which I had, I think, 43 in my video. So if they had more than me, then they were going to get an additional batch of prizes. But no one had more than me. So I was proud of that. I was proud of that, and I saved on postage.
Wow.
So
you probably mailed it to yourself just to make it official, knowing you.
Oh man, I'm telling you, I did, but I didn't. I just put it to return to sender, and then I put
you cheaped out on the postage, didn't you? Yeah, you figure, well, they're going to return it to me anyway. That's
you so know
fun.
it.
What was the next closest number of Wolverines behind your 43 in that contest?
I think it was like 30.
Oh, so you have everyone beat by a mile in the Wolverines.
Oh yeah,
all right.
It was
that
serious.
Was that Don Comic Book Junkie?
No, he hardly had any on display.
Oh, that's
most of his stuff is in boxes, and he had very few that were out.
Because he's a rabid Wolverine fan. I mean, rabid.
Yeah, he's got every single Wolverine issue of every single title of every single volume of any Wolverine title ever. He's got them all.
Yeah, I think he's just missing like a few of the like special editions and one shots and things like that. But yeah, he's got all the main series. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got the same thing going. I'm only about 30 books shy of all volume continuity Wolverines from miniseries through death. So I'm a little less than 30 books shy of that. Through his death, yeah. Wolverine's death.
I didn't hear of any death. Who's that?
Oh yeah, Wolverine died. He's coming back. Don't worry.
Okay. I don't buy the new stuff. You got to acclimate me a little bit here.
Yeah, Roger, I wasn't aware of it either. I think that's something that happened in the last 15 years when we stopped buying into comics.
I've been in that time capsule for 15 years. I wouldn't know anything about that.
In a time capsule?
Yeah.
You don't even bag and board your comics. What are you talking about? Time capsule.
Well, I take better care of myself than my comics. Give me a little credit.
Oh no! I just got outbid on something. It's an emergency! Quick, somebody talk! I gotta do something.
Concentrate, Bob. Concentrate.
I am. I need to get this listing.
Concentrate. It's not the end of the world. You lose a.
What are you bidding on? What are you bidding on?
Are you kidding me? If I say it before it's over, I'll be outbid 100 times.
Come on.
I know. With our massive subscribers and viewers.
Central here,
Awesome. Wow, we got quite a few people in the chat here. C. Woodard just showed up. Hey, C. Wood. We got Area 51, Russman's Funk Collectibles.
Cool.
I don't know if I know his channel. I'll have to check him out.
Silver Age Dave just popped in. He's on vacation.
Nice. Welcome. It wasn't me, bub. Yeah, somebody bid against me. I'm telling you. I'm watching you people.
Dave is one of those guys. He would be one of those guys that would beat you. He's eBay expert over there.
He is, but he'd probably send it to me in an AOK or something.
Yeah, he probably would.
Yeah, all right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Maybe you should let him win it then.
Maybe I should.
Well, really? Hey, remember during the chat, me and you going back and forth?
What really makes me mad about this listing was that it was going for 35. It was $35 and $5 shipping, and nobody bid on it, right? So my strategy when that happens is to let it sit. If I'm not comfortable with that price, then I wait until it gets relisted. And a lot of times it'll get relisted with either a lower buy it now or a make an offer button will show up, right? So I waited for it to relist, and it relisted $5 lower. And of course, me being the cheapskate I am, like, oh, that's perfect. Now I'm ready to buy it, right? So and now I'm in a bidding war, and I'll probably lose because I'm not going to raise it up too much, because the most I'll do is pay what I should have paid last week. So,
oh, boy.
Well, I'll tell you what I do when I list items on eBay for auction to sell. I used to put, like, if I had a book I thought was in the $100 range or like $150 range, I would starting bid of like $125 or something. And sometimes I would get a bid, sometimes I wouldn't. What I've done over the years is I've just backed it down to I start everything, no matter how valuable the book is or isn't. I start all my bids at 99 cents, run it for a week. And what it does is a bunch of people will bid in the first day. And those people get like emotionally invested. They're watching it. They've got a bid on it. eBay gives them a notification that, hey, you've been outbid or this item's ending soon or whatever. And I feel like it gets more people invested in the item, and I end up getting higher prices starting with a lower bid. So anybody out there selling, if you want to give that a shot. And if you've got like, Spider-Mans and like a Wolverine, any type of Marvel superhero stuff, those are consistent sellers no matter what you start to bid at, and you sort of get a little 5-10 max higher if you start to bid low, I've found.
That's scary because I'm pretty sure I've got wrapped up on the other side of that before.
Yeah, it's scary the first time I list something for 99 cents when I first started selling on eBay, and I have something that's, at the time it was maybe $100 book, and I listed it for 99 cents. And it's scary because you might only get $1 out of it. But over time, you realize there's so many people on eBay that things consistently sell for what they sell for, whether you start the bid, at 99 cents or $5. But sometimes you start real high, you won't get a bid at all, and you'll have to relist it. So
that's scary. I don't I don't sell too much on eBay anymore. I've been selling mostly to just local private collectors and comic shops now. That's what I do mostly all now. The returns are less, but they're faster.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay the fees when you do that.
Sometimes they pay me in cash. Sometimes they pay me in PayPal. And usually what I'll do, like my standard thing is to walk in with some, like basically $102 or what I would paid for, like $102, right? Like that's what I'm asking for, but I'll say, just make it 100, and I need a thing of boards and bags, So I do that quite a bit. Give them that hot $2 discount, and then walk out with a couple of things out of the store because I need them,
Yeah, that works great if you have an LCS that buys stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. Oh, here we go with the sad story DS is going to tell again about his the LCS that won't play ball with him, won't give him the $6,000 he wants for his.
No, I tried selling things to them numerous times, and they always would just tell me, we just bought a lot, we just bought a lot, we just bought a lot. Well, okay, I mean, I know they've probably bought a lot at some point, but they turned me down so many times I stopped asking.
Oh wow. I don't know why you would put yourself through that anymore. I definitely would have quit a long time. Well, don't you have you have like a bunch of LCSs in your neighborhood, don't you?
Well, I mean, in the area, I have one just that's right down the street, sort of in my town. But, if I drive within an hour, there's more. But I don't know. I mean, if you're driving over an hour, I feel like there's that defeats the L in the LCS, and that's more of a road trip for me. Like that's a comic road trip, and I'll do that sometimes. I'll go check out other stuff.
Though. That's local for Bub. Bub goes an hour and a half, I think, for his, and LCS, not so LCS, shall we say?
Wow.
So, but you only go in like once a month or twice a month, right, Bub? Am I thinking something?
No, I go probably, let's see. I go to my LCS probably twice a week to sell books.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, I hit my LCS up twice a week. I'm pulling about 200 a week from them in selling books. And then I take that, I reinvest it, flip some more books, and then buy books for myself too. And then like when I go to buy stuff, since they don't carry a lot of stuff, they don't have a large back issue bin or anything like that. So I'll buy collectibles and like Funko Pops and things like that from them. But when I go to buy books, I either buy them online or I do travel like an hour and a half. And there's 2 other comic shops about an hour and a half from me that I can get to. And I go there maybe once a month.
Oh, okay.
That's interesting because I've never really sold on eBay or at the comic book store, but that's good to know. Good to know.
What's your pickup like when you go? Like, where do you go to get your comics
I
other
have
than
like
winning contests?
right. I have well, since I'm in Southern California, I have a lot of, I guess, local that are like 15, 20 minutes away from me. So I go to at least like 4 or 5 around me, and I think some of them do buy books. So that's kind of interesting. I'll have to think about that.
One of the keys to selling books to an LCS is to find out by what method they price their books.
Right.
So each one do it a little different. Anyone that's price checking you against eBay at the register, you know where they're getting their prices, and that's probably not going to be an LCS you can sell to because eBay prices are so erratic. And then they'll say silly things like, "Well, this the book you're trying to sell me just sold for like $20, and you want $30." And I'm like, "Yeah, because I bought it. That's me. Like I'm the latest person to have bought this book. That's the one I bought. So you can't go back to eBay and buy it for the price it just sold for because it's not available for that price now."
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's hard to sell to shops that use eBay as their price guide. But like if they're using Overstreet or if they're using a lot of shops use mycomicshop.com. If they're using any of those online resources, then you know how much they will think a book is worth. And then you can buy based on that. And that's really the key to selling to an LCS is if you were an LCS owner, and we talked some about this last week, but if you're an LCS owner, you would have your own pricing scheme, right? And you'd kind of decide how you were going to price things and how you were going to sell things. So if you just kind of flip that script a little bit, you know, we talked about some of our favorite LCSs knowing us as customers and always having a knowledgeable staff that's ready for us. So if you're going to sell to a comic shop, you have to be that person. You got to know everything about the books you're selling. You got to know everything about what they buy, and you got to know how much they want to pay for it. And then the better you get to know your LCS, the more you'll sell to them.
Yeah, that's true.
It helps, certainly.
Yeah,
but there are some LCSs which have policies that you can't break through, no matter how much you educate them. They just are not buying it. They're going by eBay prices. You could bring logic, you can bring passion to it, you can bring all kinds of evidence, and they'll say, "Fine, we're still selling at this price." But
yeah, that happened.
Reasonable people. What can I say? That's just the way it goes.
I'm a real reasonable guy.
I'm not talking. You are reasonable. I'm talking whoever you are trying to reason with. It's a two-way street, right? I mean, no matter how rational you are, you need the receiving end, right? So you have both, and I only have, well, not even either, but certainly on the
I'm sure you're pretty reasonable there, Roger.
Not according to them. No, not at all. Not even close.
DS, I could just see you walking into a shop and like pissing off the owner in about 3 seconds. Just looking at his books, and they have like an NM with a sticker with an NM on it or something, and you're like, really? I couldn't get $50 for this slab.
Well, I walk into usually if I'm out of town or I'm traveling somewhere, I'm just like a couple hours away, I'll check out the closest comic shop. I'll go in there and I'll look at the wall books and what they have that's not like new issue stuff. And if there's nothing there that even catches my interest, I usually will just sort of do a one lap around and then head out. But if they've got some good quality stuff up there, and it doesn't have to be like Hulk 181s, they have 15 with quality like that. Just anything that's like, you know, a nice Silver Age or Bronze Age book or a high grade first appearance, something on the wall. Then I'll go check out the back issue bins, because this means they're buying quality lots and they probably have some decent stuff in there. But I find most of the comic shops that I go into, I don't know if this is nationwide or just in my area, you know, the wall type books they have are not numerous, and they're not anything super special. And I don't know, the one I went to when I was on vacation last week was an awesome shop. They had all kinds of stuff in there. I mean, I wasn't looking to buy anything high end while I was on vacation, but they had what I look for when I go into an LCS. They had a bunch of big wall books. They had stuff in the case under the counter, Bronze Age keys, like first appearances, a high grade, and they had a lot of. So then it looked good. Talked to the owner for a couple minutes, and then I started looking through some of the back issues, and I only bought one thing, but it was worth my time because it looked like they're buying a lot of quality lots. So yeah, I mean, if I owned a comic shop, I would be out there aggressively trying to buy comic lots instead of focusing on Magic the Gathering on Friday night and selling action figures and new comics. That's cool. I mean, that's nothing wrong with that, but that's not for me. So I like to see a lot of the older stuff when I go in there. Otherwise, I just basically just stick to eBay, Comic Link, and Comic Connect, and check out the occasional Craigslist or comic shop in my town. But that's my experience in comic shops these days.
Yeah, that's interesting because I go to my LCS, but I've noticed, I mean, I don't know how many bookstores you guys have, but there's actually a little section. I have maybe 3 bookstores that actually have a little mini section for comic books, which is really interesting. So I actually go there and pick up like the dollar bin or whatever it is, 50 cents. So it's kind of interesting to see that they actually have bookstores that have the comic books. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, actually, most of the books I pick up in town here, I buy a lot of books around in my area, just not from my LCS, but most of the stuff I do find is at thrift stores, antique stores, places like that. They usually have a better selection of stuff to pick up than my LCS, I find. So
yeah.
When you go to the bookstore, Lindsay, are those like the problem I've had with bookstores in the past is when I go there, usually the comics are like detached from the cover, or they're not bagged and boarded, or they're like literally in like a wooden crate kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like a free for all. Yeah, it's just kind of a mess. Like some of them are nice, but for the most part, the books, they're probably not even in bags and boards, and they do have a lot of the graphic novels, which are good. So those are well kept, but a lot of the actual comic books are a little bit, torn, ripped, whatever. But you can find some good ones. You just gotta kind of dig through it.
Yeah, I think the graphic novels are better because they're the closest analogy to books that they have. They know that those go on shelf and spine out and all that, but comic books, they're not sure. They usually, like you said, they don't have bags and borders. They're thrown in some bin and dog-eared, bent over, and who knows what other miscellaneous stuff gets in there. Sometimes toys and
because a lot.
I found one with a bunch of shoes once. I mean, that just didn't know.
Because a lot of the stuff is donated too, so people are just just getting rid of
whatever, yeah, that's what happened. That this one had the comics on the top, and then as you dig through, there were a couple size 12s there underneath the Superman. You just never. After once it gets to that point, I'm like, no, I'm not touching. Even I'm not touching those.
Yeah, so
you guys are.
Silver Age Dave is just mentioning that Longbox Love Affair, who's got a really cool channel. If anybody's not subbed to him, you should check it out. But saying he just picked up X-Men 266, first appearance of Gambit, which was in near mint condition for $1 at an antique shop.
Whoa.
I never come across anything like that ever at antique shops, thrift stores, anywhere. I don't ever have luck like that. But I'll tell you, I've watched Longbox Love Affair. He always is finding great deals like that, and he lives like within an hour of me. So I need to go to the places. It's the same pool of places. He's just finding better ones than me, apparently, because we live fairly close. I think.
Put a tracker on him. Put a tracker on him, DS. That's the thing. You just got to follow him right in the shop, go right behind him.
Find all of the spots.
I found believe it or not, I found 2 of these 266s for $1, not in antique stores, in estate sales. I found 2 of them already.
Wow.
But yeah, they're far and few between normally. I just lucked into the second one, but it was actually on the back side of another comic, like a Wonder Woman or something. But I don't have much luck at the antique stores around here. At least they only sell like, antique like key stuff like lamps, and probably Lindsay would like it because they got all kinds of knickknacks in there.
Oh yeah, I love those stores.
Right, I figure you do, but I've never found a comic there. Never. I've probably been going 5 or 6 years in antique stores. I've never found a one.
Well, I rented a space in an antique shop here a couple of years ago, and I put some pretty decent silver and golden age books in there for sale, and it didn't draw any interest from anybody. I never got any offers. Nobody bought any of them for a year. So I don't know. I mean, I go into antique shops all the time, but when I put books in there to sell, nobody was interested in them.
Oh, how much were you charging?
No, I mean, I put them in there to make money. Like, they were priced to sell, I'll put it that way, but I wasn't giving them away. But there wasn't even anybody who made an offer or inquired. And I would go in there each week. At the time, I was selling toys and comics, and the toys I was putting in there were going quick, and then the comics I would put in, I never sold any. But I had toys in there every week. I'd go in, and not every week, but every other week or so, they would give me a check. Hey, you sold this toy truck, you sold this action figure, whatever. And I never sold any comics in there. So I don't know. I'm not sure why that was, but.
Well, I have the Peddler's Mall near me, and I go there quite a bit, and I get pretty good luck with them. Now, you're not going to find their wheelhouse really is you'll get $10 books, maybe $15 or $20 books. You're not going to find any real huge money makers there. You're not going to find a book that's even close to $500 or $1,000. You'll find some anywhere from $10 to $20 books though for $1 a piece, because every book there's a buck. So there's 2 booths in the Peddler's Mall near me, and each booth has one booth has like 15 long boxes, another one has like 3. So it works out pretty good.
Yeah, Batcave Comics
Lindsay,
is saying he found an All-Star Western 10 for $5 at Goodwill. See, I'm not finding any of these deals.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an awesome find right there.
Yeah, Rob really finds really good stuff. I mean, if you follow his channel, I'm like, and he lives, I think, somewhat close to me. I mean, I wish I'll stalk this guy because he has found some amazing things.
Well, it seems like all you YouTubers that are down in Florida area, there you have a ton of more options down there than up north sometimes, I think. I don't know.
Well, I think it's just everything is pretty close together, I guess, here. So, you can go down a strip of, 19 or, 41, and you have like, I mean, pawn shops are everywhere here. I mean, you can't, you can't turn around without tripping over one. I mean, they're just everywhere. But generally they want, eBay prices plus. So I rarely go in them.
Yeah, I just never have luck at Goodwill, like see what it's saying. I can never find anything. Nothing. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's rare. You have to be there when they bring it out, because
right.
If it's there for like more than 10 minutes, somebody's going to call somebody and they'll be there and snatch it up.
I think it's C. Woodard too that has pretty good luck at half price books. I've never had any luck at half price books, and I've been there when they brought in a whole like 7 long boxes and laid it out on big tables. And I've been through. Me and my wife sat there, went through every book, and I couldn't find anything in all those books. I walked away with no books, and all those long boxes, couldn't find a thing. To me, that's why we laugh when we go past HPB. We're like, we don't want to catch that. We don't want to. We don't want to catch HPB. It will be in there for an hour. You might not get rid of it. But yeah, so I guess it's different everywhere you're at, huh? How lucky you can get at some of these places.
Yeah,
a lot of it's luck. A lot of it's just being at the right place at the right time. That's all. I've missed great deals by literally seconds, and I've made good deals literally by seconds. So just the way it is.
Yeah. That happens. I had some big pickups this weekend. I was going to say JPL Flash was in there. I hope he's still in there. It's like 1 a.m. over there, so over in England. But he had a big find on eBay this week where it was a mislisted comic, or it was a lot. It was a lot comic is what it was. Fantastic Fours, and they were really pushing like the Jim Lee run in Fantastic Four, but they kind of tucked in like 3 silver-aged Fantastic Four comics. One of them was Fantastic Four 66, first appearance of, I guess you would say, like Adam Warlock's.
Yeah, the Cocoon.
The Cocoon.
Adam Warlock,
yeah. So he was like
fun.
super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it. When I watched that video, I was instantaneously jealous when he caught that. I was like, dang it! Oh, why couldn't I have vacationed in the UK for a day? And found that listing?
Yeah, the shipping would have killed me there, but That's the only problem.
Yeah, I know. It's like $20-$25 to ship like 4 books to
That's the
England.
only problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was
I got good luck on this. Listen, I'm kind of half showing it here. That I just got in the mail today. I'm just showing them one by one, but I picked up the full run of the Death of Wolverine, starting from I think it's volume 5 or 6, number 8, and then running through 12, and then plus the annual. And the reason that I bid on it also has the 1 through 4 first print holofoil covers. And this one's signed by Charles Soule and Steve McNiven. And then here's the hard one to find. It's I call them holofoil.
Oh, holofoil. Okay, I'm sorry. I just didn't hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good.
And then here's number 2. That book alone is like $30 in first edition. Very hard to find. And then there's 3 and 4. So the point being that this was all Thank you. This was all listed under DC Batman 1 through 6.
Wow. Man.
So they got everything wrong on that. I love when stuff gets mislisted like that.
Wow.
I'm all over it.
Okay, Bub, how did you ferret those out of that listing?
Well, I found at first it was $9.99 starting price, and I was the only bidder. So I got it for $16 shipped. And I was just clicking my heels. And I found it because, sometimes you just got to do the work, right? So I put in the simplest term I could think of, comic. And then it pre-fills, and I put comic auction ending soonest. And then it pre-fills a bunch of crap for you when you do the search, and you have to unclick them because it'll drop you down. Like, okay, you want collectibles, and now you want comics. And I'm like, no, I want anything that says comic in the title.
Gotcha.
And then this was like buried on page 20. And you got to do the work. But there it was, completely mislisted, totally wrong. In the title, he did put Wolverine, but he put Death of Wolverine 1 through 6, which there's only actually 4 in that main series. So that wasn't even right. So even if someone came across it, they might have thought, well, this guy doesn't know what he's selling, or he's trying to sell me 6 books, but there's only 4 in the series. Who knows? So, yeah. Okay. And I was sweating.
Yeah,
you got to get on there.
That's a good technique if you have the time to search through them and you're just looking for deals, nothing specific. That's a great technique.
Right. Well, I'm looking for stuff that's specific. Like this was on my want list.
Oh,
I'm looking for probably about 4 titles is what I'm looking for, but I don't search for it. I just put a standard search term of comic, and then I do the work and dig. Like I look at it like a giant dollar bin. If I go to a comic shop, how many times have you been to a comic shop and they have all their dollar comics and there's no organization to them in any way whatsoever?
Yeah.
They're just like, they're not alphabetized. They don't have any, not by character. It's nothing. Sometimes they're not even in bags and boards, and it's really hard to flip through them because they don't move through the box, or they're all jammed in the box. I mean, sometimes it's like it's a dream and a nightmare all at once. And that's the way I look at it. That's how I look at when I have time. And every time you do that too, you're like, well, yeah, if I had 7 hours, I bet I'd find something awesome. But you don't. You got like 30 minutes, right? Yeah. So if I have the time, if I have like an hour, then I could probably spend that hour better doing comic ending soonest and, go digging through what I consider to be the dollar bin equivalent of eBay comics. And I can spend that hour there, and I can search a lot faster than I can in the comic shop, and my back doesn't hurt. Which I know Lindsay, being the youngster she is, probably doesn't know what that's like yet. But I'm telling you, once you get about 3/4 of a way through a long box that's on like a picnic table, your back starts going real bad. You're like, is it even worth looking?
I was thinking of making a video about working out to move long boxes, because I got a workout routine so that I can move long boxes. Leslie, I'm in my mid-50s, so I have to be a tip-top shape to be a comic collector. Because these suckers, I mean, let me tell you, these will break your back if you don't use the correct technique.
Yeah, Mm-hmm.
So, and I have mine almost all in a walk-in closet and a little bit on top of my some shelving units here. So
Wow.
I might do that. I might do that. Might be a fun. That's kind of a Buellerish kind of video. I might do that. Working out to move long boxes. I'll tell you, the back, biceps, triceps, trapezius, all very important.
Yeah, that's funny that
Absolutely.
we're all discussing this because when I was on vacation last week and I decided to look through all those dollar bins, they had a whole bunch of them on the actual floor, and then they had like a first shelf above it, and then another one up there. I didn't even bend down to look at any of the ones on the floor because there were so many thousands. I wasn't going to get through them anyway. I didn't want to hurt my back by bending down, so I just only looked at the middle one that was sort of at like abdomen level already, so I didn't have to reach or bend down. So yeah, there's something to be said for that.
Here's something,
like
Bub.
that.
Here's something, Bub.
Abdomen level.
Here's something you're gonna like. You know, you who like hunting and all that, right? So
Yeah.
you see what I got there?
Yeah, Fantastic Four. Is that 186?
Yeah, that's correct. Doesn't look like anything's up with it, right? Just the normal one, right?
Well, it's got a $10 price tag, and I thought that was about five times more than you like to spend for a comic.
I didn't pay that, Bub. It was half price. Okay. What about
That's what I thought.
that one look okay?
Yeah, a couple of newsstands. I don't see anything wrong with it.
Okay, now look. Let's put this one next to it. You see anything different?
No, you got 35-cent variants.
You got it.
Yeah, it's a variant. Yeah.
Again, this knowledge is power, right? So
yeah,
I go into the LCS yesterday. They got a sale going on, and they got in some comics there in a little maybe 4 or 5 boxes, and I'm digging through it, and I find these 3. These are probably $50 or $60 books, and I got them all for. I got them these 2 for. I got this one, and this one, number 10, for $4 each, and this one for $5, right? And I go up to the lady, Bub, and I try to educate. I didn't want to rip them off, right, necessarily. So I said, "Hey,
necessarily."
You know
I mean, if it ended up that way, you're gonna sleep okay. Right. Yeah.
Okay. The lady, hey, do you know what a 35-cent variant? She has this in her hand. Okay. Do you know what a 35-cent variant is? She goes, no. What's that? Oh, I go. It's a price variant that occurred in 1977 when they were test marketing Marvels to about 6 different cities. Oh, really? Oh, are you going to take these comics? Yeah. So I couldn't even get out what I was trying to tell her. So I just took them and went on my merry way.
Well, you're a better man than me. I wouldn't have even attempted to educate, especially a sophisticated professiontional seller like a store. If they had something in there, like a Star Wars variant or one of these variants or a Spider-Man variant for mismarked, mislisted or whatever, I would just take it and run. It's not my job to educate them. They're running a business in a store. And
true,
you know.
True. I agree. But I'm trying to build a relationship and a rapport with them. Right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This was a goodwill gesture, right? Mm-hmm. I couldn't. Yeah. She wanted to get me out of there, because she wanted to go back to her iPhone, right? So.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Even your attempt at currying favor and generating a good relationship didn't even phase her anyway. So
nothing, zero zippo. But again, knowledge is power, guys. The deals are out there. If you know what you're doing and you're diligent about things, you can get some nice comics. So it's not to brag. I'm just saying they were there. I just happened to be in the right place at the right time. By the way, if I got there Sunday, this collection got in Friday. I'm sure I missed a ton of stuff.
Yeah, probably.
They had huge runs of X-Men. All the Star Wars were gone. Maybe there was a Star Wars 135-cent variant in there. I don't know. That could have put my daughter through a semester of college right there. So
that would have been nice.
But oh well.
I think I appreciate that. I think if you want to double your money, let me know. I'll go ahead and help you out. I'll get those off your hands for you.
Nice try, Bob. Nice try. I'm probably going to make a video in the future to how to identify 35-cent variants so that my subscribers and the community can identify them because they can fetch some money. And I don't want people to just. I want our guys to get the best comics out there. So I might do a video about that.
I wouldn't mind giving you an assist on that. In fact, I'll go ahead and do it right now. to all the watchers and viewers out there, to identify a 35-cent comic, I want you to look in the top left-hand corner of the comic. If you see the two distinctive numbers, 3 and 5, in close proximity, that is likely a 35-cent comic. There you go, Roger. You're welcome.
You're awesome, buddy. You're awesome. I know what to do with that.
Yeah, Metarog, what I've done, and I don't, this is a good idea. When I used to go hunting, I did that. I would pick out some of the main titles, like, the big books, the Star Wars, the Iron Fist ones that are 35-cent variants. But then I would look at some of the other titles, like the ASM, and just try to remember which numbers in that title. Like, I think it's like 167, 68, 69.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that neighborhood. I don't remember off the top of my head now, but I would try to memorize all those in the major titles. So if I ever came across one of the major titles, I would know there's just like 4 or 5 issues there that might have that variant, just to keep an eye out for it. But I don't know how you can, without memorizing, know how to determine. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you have another one to compare it to, the font's different, is what you're saying?
Yeah, sure.
On all of them?
I can tell by the font. The font is different, and I'll show you in a minute what I mean. Okay, here we go. Here's a regular 35 center. Here's a small lesson for everybody here in the chat. This is a bonus that you won't get anywhere else here. Notice here, okay, that the font is different. Notice how the 5 is a little more cropped and a little thicker.
Yeah, but which one's which?
This is the variant. This is the regular.
Well, yeah, that's a tough, slight difference, and if you don't have another one to compare it to, that's tough, Roger. I don't know. I didn't even know that.
One's skinny and one's fat.
This one is longer, and this one is a little more cropped, and this one's a little thicker. This is a little thinner.
Yeah.
Again, guys, I've had like 20 of these and around, so I've already have experience with them.
Does that methodology hold true for the ones that have the prices in that little starburst also?
No. In the starburst, they're no longer variants. It's the only exceptions are the 2 Hanna-Barbera comics, which I don't have any of, and those have it like kind of in a circle. But all the rest just have a regular. They look just like that one. Some are a little more crooked, but they're all that little fatter 5 and little fatter 3.
Wow. So slow down, Roger. I'm writing this on my palm.
Yeah, that is really good to know, and I had no idea that you could distinguish based on the thickness or the type of the font. I had no idea. What I tried to do is just pick out some of the titles and memorize the run that might have those variants in case I came across it. But this has been years since I've really taken hunting in the wild for books like this seriously. I don't really do it that often, so I can't even remember what they are. But I never even knew that you could determine it that way. That's great, Roger. I had no idea.
I mean, I've been hunting these things for 15, 20 years, so you pick up a thing or two.
Let me ask you, Roger, does that also hold true? Like, I'm looking for a set of 30-cent variants, Werewolf by Nights. There's like 5 or 6 of them. Does it hold true for the 30-cent variants as well, or just the 35 cents?
The 30-cent variants have a lot of variety because they change the price box. There's actually 6 different price boxes. I can show you a few of them if you want, but those are almost a case-by-case basis because there are just so many different ones.
Oh man.
So the best thing to do, this is the rule. Write this down, Bub, right?
Hold on, I gotta get another palm.
April through August 1976 Marvel, if it's a 30 center between April and August 1976, and it's not in Humans 5 or Kazar 15, if it's not one of those 2, it's a 30-cent variant.
All right. I'm going to need, I feel like I'm taking the SATs again. Freak.
Yeah, variant hunting is a very specialized type of comic hunting. It's very specialized.
Right. Do me a favor, write that in the chat so I have it cataloged.
Well, I'll tell you, Raj, between you and Silver Age Dave, you guys have the variant hunting knowledge down. I think Dave's been running into him over the last couple of years like crazy. I think he's got almost all of them, and I know I think you do have all of them, don't you?
I got the complete 30-cent variant set. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
but Dave lives in a 35-cent variant area.
Yeah, he's in one of the test
in the
markets.
test city.
Yeah, he
he's
got
in
one of the test markets. I don't live in a test market. I had to do it the hard way.
Oh, there goes Roger. You know, you give Roger 45 minutes and he'll start throwing shade, man. That's how he does. He just
Well, you know,
he did it the hard way. Oh, Silver Age Dave resting on his laurels, hanging out.
Yeah,
Comics falling out of the sky in his lap.
Listen, they find him. I am Silver Age Dave's biggest fan. Okay, the hugest fan, because this man is touched by God. All right, I mean, to him, I break my booty, and I get maybe one or two.
Oh yeah,
So
it's rough out there.
He is my idol. I mean, beyond any other superstar, it's Silver Age Dave.
Mm-hmm. Were you born with that shovel, Roger?
No, I acquired it over the years. It kind of grew up like an appendage.
As usual, we had some topics to get through tonight. We didn't get through any of them. Let's see if we can look at. All right. And no, I just got to start you early. All right, we'll skip. Look, see, and I was even looking. I was thinking about you, and I was thinking, you know, because you always talk about how Shang-Chi is your favorite character.
Oh yeah, and I got those ready.
And you always kind of allude to how you personally. All right, take it easy. how you want, you know, how you identify with him. So if you're ready, we'll talk about your favorite character. Go ahead, Lindsay.
I was ready this time, Bub.
So, right now I'm actually really into Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel. I really like her story, like her character. She's been really interesting to me. That, you know, her abilities, her storyline, and I don't see Tacoma Comics on here. I know he's a big fan of her, but yeah, she's one that I'm looking forward to. Getting more stories, and I don't know if she's gonna get a movie or a TV show or something like that. I've heard something like that, but yeah, she's really, really cool.
Well, Lindsay, let me ask you, have you seen the Avengers movie? And this might be a little spoiler if anybody doesn't want to watch for a second, but did you see the new Avengers Infinity War movie?
Yeah.
I think was at the very end, and again, spoiler alert for anybody in the chat, but did you watch through to the credits and they show that little symbol on Nick Fury's phone? Isn't that?
Yeah, I think that was Captain Marvel.
Okay,
yeah, you're mixing up Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel.
Well, but I think they were. I don't read modern story arcs, but I think Ms. Marvel and Captain Marvel were working together recently in the comic story arc. So I would certainly not be surprised to see Kamala Khan in a movie that features Captain Marvel.
Oh, I'm sure she's coming.
That would be really interesting.
Yeah. But, you know, probably they're not going to do that just yet, just to not confuse the character, you know, together. They'll probably, down the road, she'll come in, and once they get the Captain Marvel movie out of the way and all that.
Yeah, but I think it's a slam dunk that she will be in a movie at some point. Yep. So if you've got any of that, and I know some of those, like first appearance, or there's like a variant cover or something that's already, the price is through the roof on it already. I don't know much about those, but.
Yeah, Tacoma Comics is the expert on Kamala Khan, so if he's on here, he probably has all the scuttlebutt on when she's appearing or whatever.
Yeah.
I think this is the only Miss Marvel comic that I own. But I think if you're going to own one, it's a pretty good one.
That's a really cool one.
Is that a fried pie
variant? Yeah, it's a fried pie.
It's a fried pie. Is that a Books A Million variant thing?
Yes, but what's funny is that they have like Books A Million variants, and then they have fried pie variants. So like sometimes it'll say BAM, and then sometimes it'll say fried pie. Sometimes it's a Second and Charles variant, which is like their wholly owned subsidiary. So you never know, you know, how they're going to put it. But the fried pies themselves, I tend to collect those. Those are good flipping books.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see this, but let's see if you can see that. But this is the variant that I picked up. Oops, can you see it? Can you see it? Nope.
Yeah, was it How to Draw Miss Marvel?
Yeah. Am I getting
There's a little glare, but I can see it. Is that Champions?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really cool, kind of interesting. I was gonna actually give it to Tacoma Comics, but I haven't been able to contact him. But kind of an interesting one that I picked up recently. So
Oh, like a schematic or blueprint type cover.
yeah, like a drawing or how
That's
to draw her
cool.
type of thing. Yeah, so
Cool.
that's a fun one.
I like that. So you like her powers, you like her skill set. Is it that you identify in some way with her, or is it just that you like her in awe of her?
Yeah, no, I think she's just a cool character. She's really easy to relate to. Interesting powers, So yeah, I just like her. Kind of a cool storyline.
That's cool. I know now DS, I know you your favorite character is actually the skull from Hamlet. Is that not right?
Well, that's
what?
close, actually. I know you're making a joke, but when I thought about this topic, my favorite character relating to comics, I'm like, well, my first thought went to my favorite genre, which is Golden Age horror. And I'm like, well, I really like decrepit corpses in these stories and zombies and the undead. So that's like one of my favorite character elements in comics. But for superhero genre, my favorite is Thor. And it's just because when I was a kid, my dad would every month he would bring me back the new issue of Thor. This was before I was reading comics. So the very first comic books I ever read were the new issue of Thor every month that came out that my dad would buy me. So I really just that was the only comic book I was reading when I was real little. So I found in Thor what I identified with, and I grew passionate and a love for comics through reading Thor in the early '80s. And so Thor's always had a special place in my heart among comic characters. And I don't, now that I've gotten older, and Thor is not one of the comics that I primarily collect. I have some of the keys, but I have a couple that I got when I was younger that are still very special to me. And so every time I see a Thor comic, I'll flip through it. Or yeah, so Thor's my favorite character. And that's why, but it's not my favorite book to collect, but it's always at the top of my list. That's one of the reasons, again, to throw a plug out there for Silver Age Dave. He went through a whole bunch of Thors recently, and I was loving it because I don't collect the books, but the character has a special place in my heart. So that's my story. Other than decrepit corpses, I go with Thor.
Decrepit corpses.
Yep.
Have you ever got lucky enough to find a Thor comic that was full of decrepit corpses?
Oh, I have one.
Yeah. No, but I think there are some out there. I'm sure Metarog's got some. Yeah.
Of course, Roger's got one.
I have one. Yeah, I actually have seen that. It's in the two. I'll find it for the next chat. My Thor box is kind of buried, but I'll find it for the next chat. I mean, I don't know. They're corpses. I don't know that they're decrepit. They're actually fairly fastidious kind of corpses there. But
I remember my favorite two villains when I was really little, like 5 or 6 or 7. Before I knew anything about comics, there were 2 characters that stood out to me as villains that I thought were just so awesome looking. And I'm like, man, maybe one day I'll learn what these are. And I since did. One was a Red Skull, and one was Blood Axe, who sort of looks like the Red Skull. So yeah, even at an early age, I was drawn to Thor and the Skeletor-looking type demon skulls in the comics. So
Nice.
yeah.
Pope Service says it's Thor 251. I think he's right. Thank you, Pope. We got some awesome people. Awesome people in here? Iron Archer Films.
What's Thor 251?
I think it's that one with the corpses that I was thinking about.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Here's Blood Axe for you there, DS Comics. For Thor 451.
Yeah, that's one of the ones when I got a little older, I remember buying that one and really digging it. Yeah, so I guess I was older than 7 because I think Blood Axe didn't come out until I was maybe like 12 or something. I don't know exactly the time, but that's one of my favorite books. And I actually sent my original copy of that in to get graded, and it came back at a 9.8. And that's one of my favorite books that I own, and it's really not even worth that much, but it's a 337 cover swipe. I love it.
Yeah, I was going to say 330. It looked like a 337 cover swipe to me.
Yeah, and I think that's like his second or third appearance. I think his first appearance is like 449 or 450 or something.
Oh.
I stopped collecting at that point, but that's a cool looking cover, I have to admit.
But yeah, you can see how him and the Red Skull are sort of similar looking. And when you don't know much about comics and you're just looking at comics on the shelf while you're in the grocery store, You know,
What grocery store is that? Because I don't see any grocery store comics.
well, not anymore. But you remember back in the day, Raj, and they used to have all the newsstands, and I would, you get dragged to the store with your mom to go shopping, and, and you try to get a quarter for the video games and try to get $1 to buy a comic or something.
I thought you were talking modern times, and I was like, man, what grocery is that, like an A&P? What? Because I want to go.
No, but the A&P and the ShopRite, those were the two. And there was a James Way. I don't know if
yeah.
anybody's familiar with James Way.
At Grand Union here in Florida, there was a place called Grand Union, and they had some really good. They had the 3-packs.
Oh yeah, we had Grand Union. I think the one that had the best ones was ShopRite. They had the pet. What are those? The plastic 3-packs.
Yep.
Yep. Pedigree or something.
Yeah. They had the pedigree, or they had. I don't remember. There was one that was more generic than that, but
yeah, there was.
They had like the really cheap poly bags. I mean, these things would just disintegrate after a few years. And I remember picking up probably one a week there for years.
Yeah, I used to. I remember how I had a full run of the What Ifs from the '80s, and the Marvel Who's Who in the Marvel Universe. I think it was called.
Yeah,
I had the whole run of those. I bought all those off the rack. Every time I went to the grocery store, I would try to buy the new one, and I ended up getting like the whole. I was missing a couple, but I mean, for the most part, I had the whole run of those.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Treat pedigree. Evan's saying treat pedigree. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Treat pedigree. Yep.
Up in New York, we had
some knowledgeable people up in this chat. Let me tell you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we got to have Lindsay on more often because it's never like this. Lindsay comes on the show, and all of a sudden we go like 30
Lindsay,
people.
I mean, she's a magnet for this knowledge.
Wow.
We got Charlton 66 in here. I mean, nobody knows more about Charlton's on this earth than Charlton 66, and he's in our chat.
Nice.
Have you seen Steve's videos? The man is a veritable oracle of Charlton.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
That's quite something. We do have oh my goodness. All right, Lindsay. Well, can you come back next week? No, we can't actually.
No, I have work. I'm sorry.
I know. I've been trying to get Lindsay on the show for like a month, but she works every day of the week, I think. 11 hours a day, and then sleeps for 30 minutes and eats for 30 minutes. And
he's a busy lady.
I gotta pay for these comic books somehow. I gotta pay for them. So
I was gonna ask you that.
I don't know how you get to do a video every day. I mean, that's a heavy schedule. I just saw that you want to do that, right?
Yeah, well, I pre-record a lot of my stuff, so it's on weekends, whatever. So
okay.
She drops like 2 or 3 on some days. I was going to ask you, Lindsay, with such a large array of things that you collect, how do you determine where your money goes? Like, do you just walk into the store with $10 in your hand and like the best thing I see for $10 is what I'm walking out with? Or do you kind of hunt by the day, or what do you do? How do you figure it out?
I just kind of go out, if I go to like my LCS, it's more comic books and stuff like that. But if I go to the mall, like Hot Topic or something like that, those are more of my collectibles and stuff like that. But I just kind of whatever I see that catches my eye that day, I do like to bargain shop, so that's kind of like my big thing. But yeah, no, it's just kind of whatever catches my eye that day. So it could be anything. It could be, a figure, a comic book, whatever, a shot glass, anything.
So then you're probably not collecting like the newest runs of things, like things that would take your money every 2 weeks.
No.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
You gotta have deep pockets. You're gonna have deep pockets for that. I mean,
right.
I see like Don Comic Book Junkie. I mean, man, he puts some credible. I think he picks up every 2 weeks or whatever. And I'm just like in awe. This guy can pick. I think he's cut back just because it's getting. Just to follow. Yeah, it's true. Just even if you follow Wolverine and a couple other characters, that's like $50 a week. I mean, I can't afford
Wolverine's trying to put me in the poorhouse, and he doesn't even he's not even in a comic yet. I've got like 5 comic books to buy a month with his name in the title, and that's it. So it drives me crazy. Oh, well, that's why DS Comics stopped buying modern comics back in 1926. Is that right?
The last modern comic I bought was probably I don't know, 4 years ago.
What was it?
I don't know, because 3 years ago I sold it, so I don't even know what it was.
It was too traumatic to remember.
Well, you guys know I used to have so many books. I got rid of them all. Now I have just a few hundred, and I just save up, and I just spend a lot of money on one book from time to time, and that's my collecting style now, and it's more expensive, and I pick up less, and I like it more. So what are you going to do? I can't keep up with the new stuff. It's too much. I can't keep up with it.
Yeah, that's a lot. And it'll drain your mind. If there's bigger keys you're looking for anywhere down the line or things you're trying to save up for, it'll drain you fast. Those modern comics will take a lot from you.
Yeah.
I still like them though. I watch the other YouTubers who pick them up, or pick up the new issues or the variant covers or the different story arcs. I still dig watching those videos and seeing them, but I don't have it in me to go to do that every week and figure it all out. So that's one of the parts of this community I absolutely love, is seeing stuff that I just don't have the time or inclination to go get, but I still am interested enough in it, so I get to see it and enjoy it without diverting my time and money to it, which is I don't have enough to devote to everything. So
it's called vicarious living, DS.
Yes, exactly.
I do it all the time. Trust me. I'm not criticizing.
I like watching what other people get just because I learn so much, of course. And then when I see it, I love when I see someone in a comic hall pick up a book, in something I watched that morning. And then that afternoon or evening, I see it in a dollar bin. I go crazy. I'm like, oh man, I got to buy this. I just saw this on TV. I have that feeling.
Right.
I'm in a club now, I got to get it. So.
Well, I'll tell you, when it comes to Funko Pops, I was starting to sort of, for a minute, get into those, and I never bought any, but I was watching Lindsay, obviously, you have Funko Pops, you know about them.
Yeah.
There's a couple other YouTubers that have insane Funko Pop collections, and I started watching some, and I started watching all these Funko Pop YouTubers, and so then I was thinking of to go hunt for them, and I just... I had to step away for a minute, and I never ended up going out into that endeavor. But if I get hooked on something else, it's just I'll be fully obsessive about it. So I got to be careful. But I just stick to the stuff I do, and the rest I live vicariously through these YouTubers and other channels.
Yeah, exactly. You got to be careful with those Funko Pops. You got to be really careful.
Sounds like a great deal though, because most of them are $14.99, and you can get them at places that are on the mall, and you can get them at GameStop and Walgreens, and you can buy the convention ones.
Yeah, they have
eBay.
Exclusives.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I could easily spend hundreds of dollars a week on those.
Just call me if you need an intervention, DS.
I didn't. I held off on those, but it's stuff like that where I see on different YouTube channels, like Lindsay's got a bunch of stuff like that, and then
some awesome stuff back there.
Yeah, then I'm at Walmart or I'm at Walgreens, or I'm walking around the mall, and I'm like, well, let me stop in Hot Topic, which is a store I never go in, but I walk in there to see if they have a Blue Venom or whatever it was, Funko.
Oh
so,
yeah.
That was that when that one came out of Hot Topic. Period where I was starting to see that I could get obsessive about this, and I didn't.
What's kind of funny is I went to my Hot Topic a couple weeks ago, and they actually were selling comic books in their clearance section, and I was like,
really?
I was like, what? I had no idea. I don't think they're anything, anything fancy or anything, but they had comic books, and I think I've heard that even GameStop might get comic books. So
GameStop, Walmart.
GameStop has always had variants too. GameStop's had variants for a long time. But if they're going to start stocking modern comics, getting all into it, that's going to be too much.
Yeah,
I'll take it.
Well, when I walked into the Hot Topic the one time, I think they looked at me like I was lost, and because I didn't look like their typical Hot Topic customer, I think. But I just went in and sort of took a lap around, and I really felt like I was out of my element in that place looking at Funko Pops. But
that's not fair, DS. I saw a guy who I assume looks just like you. I think he was buying a pair of Harley Quinn pajama sets or something.
Wow.
And he bought the top and bottom, so.
Wow. Hey, to each his own, right? I mean,
yeah. See, Great Legend said he just picked up a Popeye the Sailor pop. If I saw one of those, I would pick it up just because of the history of Popeye the Sailor. But it sounds like from the comments that's probably some super special, awesome pop. Maybe I don't know. See, I don't know. But now I actually, when I get out of this chat, I'm going to go on eBay and see what it is and how much it is, because Popeye's been an awesome character in pop culture since like 1929.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, Evan says TJ Maxx and Marshalls is also selling variety packs. Can you believe
what? Pops or comics? Of comics, I guess, right?
Comics, I'm assuming, because I don't think Pops come in 5-packs. So.
Well, hopefully it's the start of a whole new newsstand market.
Oh man, I mean, what did Walmart start here? I mean,
exactly.
It's like imitating, the leader here, right? What is that called? There's a marketing term for that, but my marketing degree is way back in the past. But whenever somebody has an idea that sticks, it's always emulated, and it looks like that's what's happening. Wow, but that's fast. I mean, that's only been out like a month or so.
That would be good. I wouldn't mind that too bad at all. If the more places I went that had comics just for sale, the newer ones just for sale and available, I'd probably pick up more. Last time I was at Walmart, I spent $10 on comics. That's only happened one other time when the number ones came out. And, I think one time maybe I bought one of their like 3-packs of comics, but they're not really a good deal. They're kind of randomized. But if you're just into reading the stories or whatever, then that's cool. But yeah, I've been hunting down, stalking the Walmart associates, waiting for them to restock.
Yeah.
I think my Walmart still has one copy of one of those first edition Walmart books that came out. They still have one sitting there. I don't know which one it is. I didn't buy them, but I know they were a big craze when they came out. Everybody was buying them up. My Walmart still has one sitting there on that little cardboard slanted thing. They still got one up there. It's been up there for weeks.
Well, somebody told me that some Walmarts have restocked their issues.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, they have.
Oh, they have.
But they have, but they're still first editions. So I guess somewhere the vendors stocked to Walmart proper, because in the beginning the vendors were coming on their own and stocking that as a separate thing. I don't know if they still are. They might be for the new ones. But when the display is empty, I think that there's like a crate in the back at Walmart that they're refilling the back issues.
Yeah, somebody just said Russman's Fun Collectible said he found a Teen Titans #1. So yeah, I bet you they're that. I don't think it would last. So I think that must be a restock.
Yeah, I'm going to try and swipe one of the displays. That's my my big goal now. I'm going to try and get one of the displays.
HME3 Comics has one. That's he made a video for my giveaway, and he has one. I don't know how he got it, but he has one.
Well,
those
the same way he does.
I don't know how. I don't know if if he just went up there with it and say how much for this, or if it was thrown away or what.
Well, in my local Walmart, they're right by the self-checkout, so I might just pick up the whole thing, scan every one of them that's in there, and then put the whole thing in my cart and roll out, and see if the old Betty that refused to say hello to me on the way in stops me for my receipt.
Well, if it doesn't have a barcode on it, it's technically not going to be on the receipt, right? So
yeah, she can count how many books I have. I'll buy every book in the display. I'm going to wait till it's like 4 or 5 books deep, full in the display. I'm going to take the whole display. I'll go beep beep on each one of those books, and then roll right out and see what happens. Worst they do is stop me and say, "Me, sir, you got to put that back." And I'll say, "You put it back yourself. I don't work here." And I'll leave. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, so if we have to bail you out next week, we'll know what happened, right?
Yeah, no haggling on the price. Just pay whatever they're asking. Let me out of there.
I'll use your own tactics. I'll haggle it down. If they say 50, I'll go 30 until see what happens. We'll let Bub sweat in there a few extra minutes.
Hey, just slip me some comics through the bars. I'll be all right. Be some good reading time.
We'll make sure you have a steady diet of comics in there. No problem.
Yeah. See if you can get me a Walmart display to keep them in while I'm in there.
Listen, you don't want to give them any more evidence than they already have against you, all right?
Hey, I'm pretty sure my recollection that it's available. If you just buy enough of them, then they give you one for free. So
okay,
that's what I heard.
Well, let me know. Let me know if that's the case. Maybe that's something we can start to disseminate amongst YouTube of how to get one.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yeah,
could be the test case.
I don't want to be the test case.
Well, you said you're going to do it anyway.
So. Don't make me the guinea pig.
I didn't suggest that. You suggested that. I'm just going.
Let me tell you something. DS Comics has about 4 short boxes full of slabs, and on the cover of each one of those is someone in some sort of test tube environment being tested upon, and it never works out good.
I do have quite a few with that theme. That's true.
Oh, man. Well, Roger, who is your favorite character? Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, everyone. Thanks for joining us on the No Face. Go ahead.
You see how I get treated here, Lindsay? Why
Yeah.
I put up with these guys? Why? Listen, I ask, every time there's a contest and I get asked, your favorite character. That's like asking me which one of my children do I love more. I mean, it's an impossible kind of question to answer.
That's not true. All your other kids know the answer. There is an answer, and although you won't admit it, every one of those kids knows what the answer is. And the one kid who doesn't, that's the favorite. Go on.
Okay. This comic book psychology is just awesome, isn't it? Anyway, so for me, I went back to when I was a wee lad, which was, yes, Lindsay, back in the 70s. Yeah, I'm not kidding you, right? And this is one gentleman which I really, back here we have Fu Manchu, right? And here you have Shang-Chi, right? And the thing is that he persevered in his life. He persevered against all obstacles. He was raised totally to be a totally different person than what he ended up to be. And to me, that tells me that the willpower of the individual, of us, can trump the outside influences that come into our lives. So we have a good amount of control over who we are, I guess is my point. And Shang-Chi to me was personified that, because his father essentially made him into an assassin, somebody that would further his nefarious goals. And once he found out, he actually did kill somebody for him. And once he found out the truth, because of the characters around him, that made sense, because he lived in essentially in a bubble, so he didn't have those outside influences. Once he got information, once he got the truth, he became the best of the best, a moral, outstanding, just somebody that you could always trust, because he was naive to information, but his core, his personality, his character was always there. And so to me, this is why I admire so much a character like Shang-Chi. He didn't have powers. He wasn't that strong. He wasn't nothing like that. What he did is that he honed his skills out of his own will, out of his own tenacity, and out of his own ability to withstand pain and be so disciplined that nobody could trump him, just because he had that willpower that nobody could, except maybe Captain America is the only person who has a somewhat close to a willpower of Shang-Chi. So that's why he's my favorite character.
That's pretty awesome.
Nice.
That is awesome. Are you also a fan of the Kung Fu show with Carradine from the 70s?
Yeah,
okay.
I was.
Because I think those have very similar art styles. One comic book, one cinematic, but they seem very similar.
Yes, I was. David Carradine and Kung Fu. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, in the 70s, you had a lot of these Kung Fu characters, and I'm a fan of most of them, like the Karate Kid. Also was a similar character in that his abilities were all honed abilities. He didn't have any superpowers. And to me, somebody who's disciplined and can rise above, all the obstacles in their lives is somebody to admire.
Yeah, are you also into the the Hong Kong kung fu movies, like that sort of cheesy kung fu genre?
Not so much, no, not so much.
Okay, I used to really love those.
I do like the Donnie films, and I do like the Bruce Lee films, but no, not so much into the ones that they're dubbed, and then later, about a minute later, the real stuff comes out. Yeah.
Well, there's one of those that is sort of a cult classic, and it's the Five Deadly Venoms. I mean, I liked all of them. They're all campy in a really cool way, but the Five Deadly Venoms, I think, is like a legit sort of awesome movie. If anybody out there sort of likes campy, cool, interesting, weird movies that are like cult classics, the Five Deadly Venoms is phenomenal. I think it's a great. It's like a kung fu, and it's dubbed. It's one of those, but it's really it's probably the best one.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, it's worth watching, even if you don't like that genre, so to speak.
Okay, that's not that I don't like it. It's just not my absolute favorite.
Yeah. I wonder, Roger, if you have thought about that. I've heard that that's one of the characters that's very popular. Of course, Shang-Chi is very popular. But the question is, would he ever be translatable into the modern movie, landscape? Would they ever be able to do that?
Probably not, because I think the problem there is his origin is so steeped in Fu Manchu, and that is a property which is not owned by Marvel, that it would be very difficult for them to come up with a scenario in which he could exist that wouldn't include. Well, I guess they could put some other name to his father, but to me, the fact that it was such a nefarious and really an international villain, sort of like at the level of one of those James Bond villains who are trying to blow up the world or something like that. So I don't know. I don't see that happening now.
Yeah. It's a shame, because it's a great character, and it's got some very filmable storylines, if you will, because they're grounded in a lot of reality, a lot of drinking and heavy, hard times, basically, and what he does to get through the hard times. So it would make a great movie. It's just a shame.
Yeah,
they wouldn't be able to do it justice.
Maybe a Netflix, show is a possibility, like a mini series, something like that, maybe. But I don't know. With they tried to do that with Iron Fist, and I saw it. It was okay, I guess, but nothing out of this world.
Well,
that's too similar, is what I'm saying, to what they already have done. So.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hear you. Now, Lindsay, you're a fan of the Power Rangers, right?
Yes, I am.
And they have many shows and movies over that, and I assume that's kind of maybe the shows are where you developed your like for them. Is that right?
Oh yeah. I grew up on them, watching them. Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles, the movies. Loved the characters. So yeah.
So do you? They recently did a movie. What, like 2 years ago? Did you like it? Or
yeah.
was it not good enough? Or what?
It was a little different. I guess they kind of revamped it for the time, I guess. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Good. Well, should we check it out? Or like if someone was new to it, new to Power Rangers? Because what I remember most from Power Rangers, I don't know if it was around when I was a kid. I don't think so. But I remember shortly thereafter that like kids were getting in trouble in schoolyards for playing Power Rangers and like knocking each other out, like roundhouse kicking each other off the jungle gyms.
Right.
So I just barely missed that craze, but that's okay. But for people getting into it now, where would you suggest them to start? Because they have comics now. Of course, they've always had toys.
Yeah.
So they have comics and the movie, and they have TV show, and so where would you direct someone if they wanted to get into Power Rangers or thought they were interested in that kind of whole mythos? Where would you direct them?
I mean, I'm an original Mighty Morphin Power Ranger fan, so if you have Netflix, they're all on Netflix. Start from the beginning. That's kind of where I my fandom is. So So I would recommend at the beginning.
That's cool.
What is
I mean,
this
I was
showing, Bub?
Huh?
What is this? What is this you're showing?
What am I showing? Oh, on my camera?
No, on my camera. Of course, your camera.
On your camera? I'll
You
show
caught
your
it.
camera. Look, I got skills like that. Look, I'm showing your camera now.
What is that? That's awesome. What is that?
So a lot of people don't really pay attention to stuff like that. I do, but I like to put center boards in my wraparound covers. And so Shang-Chi has, I think, some of the best artwork that was done for Shang-Chi cover-wise were on the wraparound covers to Marvel Comics Presents.
Oh, so that's the back end. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, he had an ongoing story for like the first 9 or 10 issues.
Yeah, I got them. Yeah.
And I like to display these back covers. They're really fantastic. And
that's great. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
this
got
was
them.
a flip
I don't
one.
think I've ever looked at the back cover.
Yeah. Most people, when you see them in, like, it's really hard when they got to those Ghost Rider flip books to where, and then when you find them in a bag and board. So when I was hunting down the Wolverine run of Marvel Comics Presents, I'd come across a lot of those Ghost Riders and say, oh, here's another Ghost Rider. They're driving me crazy. It's the same number and everything, you know? It took me a minute to realize that I had to flip the book over because initially they were just wraparound covers or front and back covers, but the main character was still on the front, you know? So, but then they each have a story inside the book too, so.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Big fun.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, guys. Let's see. Anybody? Oh, I know Lindsay was talking about a lot of cons she's got coming up, and I know a certain someone's got like a big con in like 45 days, a month and a half, going on a buying freeze. Diaz, are you ready for BaltCon?
Well, as for the buying freeze, that's not working out because I just bought like 3 books in the last week. I just saw them. I got deals and I couldn't pass them up. Let me tell you though, I bought, and I'll show this when it comes in, but I'm super excited. It's a reputable eBay seller too. I got a nice high grade copy of Detective Comics 400, first appearance of Man-Bat, and it looks I bought from the seller before. It looks to me to be probably in the 9.2 range, 9.0 to 9.2. I got a really good deal. I paid like $275 for it, which I think is an excellent deal for that book in that grade. So I cannot wait to get that. But so yeah, I've taken a little hit to my Comic Con budget, but I've got I think September 29th is Baltimore Comic Con, and I haven't been to a real con in like I don't know 20 years. So this is going to be sort of like a first for me. So I'm trying to save up some money so I have enough money to really get something special there. But you know, 45 days it's coming up soon. I'm excited, but then it seems like it's so far away when I'm trying not to buy anything between now and then. 45 days is a long time to go without spending money on a comic.
So that's too long.
Yeah, I mean, I bought 2 Golden Age horror books and that Detective 400 in the last week. And so, yeah, I mean, it costs money, but there are good deals on all 3, so I'm happy to get them all. But it's tough. I hope I have something left when I get there.
Look for the variants.
Wow. See,
look for the 30.
Yeah, 35ers are easy to spot.
Well,
if you're in for the 30-cent variant, you got to bring
Baltimore. It was a 30-cent variant test market, so look for those. You can flip them over in another booth.
Oh, yeah, that's not a bad idea. I will do that actually. I've got a couple things I might take to trade also. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
That's a great idea.
What I'd like to do is pick up some pre-code horror books. Just some that are just hard to find online, and when they come up in an auction in a high grade, they're like in a featured auction, and it's way out of my price range. And I don't mind paying up for a good book, but from what I hear, and if Charlton66 is still in the chat, which I think he is, I was gonna go to Baltimore Comic Con last year, and I didn't. It didn't work out, so I didn't go. And I was on the hunt for one book, and then I watched his video, and he picked up that book there in like a 6.0 grade slabbed, And then he cracked it out of the slab because he doesn't like slabs. And I'm like pulling my hair out because that's the book I was looking for. He got like a 6.0 of this gold pre-code horror book that I was like been hunting for forever. And then he got a slabbed copy and he busted out the slab. And I'm like pulling my hair out. So I'm like, I have to go next year because if I'm that just confirmed to me that I should have been there. And so I definitely need to go this year. So really excited to go.
Get together with Steve. Maybe you two can hunt together.
Yeah, he also might tell you what's left of the slab.
Well, it was a PGX slab, I think, so I wouldn't. You know, although it's got a resale value, I guess, since you don't have to break them to get the books out. But yeah, I've since found that book. I've since found that book in a much lower grade, and it's at CGC right now. So, but yeah, he found a gem there, and that was the one that I had at the top of my want list at the time last year, and then he showed it on a video when he got back from Baltimore Comic.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
Yeah.
Oh, that's rough. Lindsay, you've got a bunch coming up, don't you?
Yeah, actually, this weekend I'm going to. It's called Power Morphin Con. It's a Power Ranger convention. So that's I've actually never been to that one, so it should be really interesting. And then I'm going to LA Comic Con and Long Beach Comic Con. So I got a couple coming up.
Wow, that's cool to have so many in that close proximity.
Yeah.
Do you dress up like as cosplay, whatever that is called?
I try to. I'm not really good at it, but just for fun. But there are some amazing cosplayers out there. So.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't do that, obviously. I mean, at my age, come on, what am I kidding? but I like,
you'd be surprised, but.
but I love to see it. I saw some incredible Harley Quinn in the Clearwater Comic Con that I went to. I mean, with the big, huge mallets. I mean, there was one mallet.
Yeah.
It looked, it looked like, it looked like something out of, of what do you call those, like Filmation cartoons? Like, bang it and it would recreate something. I mean, it was amazing. I don't know how they got a mallet that big that she could swing around.
A lot of this stuff is really like almost like movie ready. Like they look like they could be just out of the movie screen. It's really it's really good.
It was amazing. It really was. I mean, like I said, I don't do that, but I can appreciate the effort that goes into making it so so realistic. It was really cool to see.
Right.
I don't talk about it on my channel very much, but we cosplay as a family.
Nice.
Yeah, when we go to cons, we generally cosplay. It's about 50-50 now. My son's got a little older. It's a good way to get kids into it because it's kind of like Halloween, So so it's a good way to get kids into going to cons, and then they don't want to do it alone as they get a little bit older. They're kind of uncomfortable, so you kind of got to do it with them. That's what I tell people. But I enjoy it. I think the best one that we had, all three of us went, my wife, my son, and I, and we were the Ware family, and he went as Where's Waldo.
Oh, nice.
I went as Werewolf from Teen Wolf. And my wife went as Where's Carmen Sandiego.
Oh, that's really cool.
Well, I know the Carmen Sandiego one. That I know.
Oh, let me tell you, it was a huge hit. Everybody but me, nobody cared about my. I went low budget, so nobody cared about mine. And all that happened was that I held people's phones and cameras the whole time while they took pictures with my wife and my son. So,
oh, wow.
Cool.
But it was still a really proud moment for me because I had picked out the costumes, So it really worked out good.
Let me give you a suggestion, Bub. Tarzan is a very cheap costume.
Not with the
cloth, and that's it.
I need a lot of loincloth. I would maybe go to like Target and buy some leopard drapes. That's about that's as free flowing as I'm going to get.
Tarzan.
That's kind of cool because you're saying your family cosplay. I went to a convention and the whole family was like mom, dad, and the three kids. They were all dressed up as Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat.
Cool.
They were all in the blue. They were all in their different outfits, but it was the whole family as kind of the character. Like they kind of played off of it a little bit, like the husband or whatever, he was Sub-Zero, but the mom had the blue, and she kind of did her outfit kind of different, and the kids were all blue, and they did their outfit. It was really cool. So
that's cool. One of the first ones that we did together as a group, I think it was the first one that we all dressed up for. We went as different forms of Robin. So my son went as what's the one that wears the red mask?
Red Robin?
Oh,
no.
Red Hood? Red Hood?
Red Hood, yeah.
Red.
Yum. Yeah, Red Hood.
Yum.
he went as Red Hood, and that was really cool. And that was a day that he got to meet Stan Lee and get his picture made and all that. So that was a good day for him. And we got a mask in from China and all this. It was PVC. It came crushed. I had to sit there with like a hot air dryer and de-warp it for like 4 hours. But that was fun. And then my wife went as, who's the girl Robin with like the green glasses? I can't remember her name, but she was a Robin too.
Yeah.
And she did her hair up and wore the glasses and had a little Robin like dress. That was really cool. And then I went as Nightwing and had the little mask and the outfit and everything. And what I enjoyed most was I had made, here's a first never seen on this channel before. So I like to make the props or the weapons or whatever. So that's like one of my favorite things to do. So these were a pair of Nightwing. Oh, what do you call them? Anybody help me? Whatever these things are. No, they're like sticks of some kind. They have a name though. Yeah, I guess
truncheons. Are they truncheons?
Yes, whatever you're saying. I think that's them. And I made them, and actually they light up. So I don't know if they still have any juice.
Oh wow!
But that's like 2 years old. It still lights up, so that's not too bad.
It's really good.
Yeah, and they have those cosplay contests and things, but apparently they had like a separate category just for weapons. So so they considered me in that. I didn't win because there were some amazing some amazing weapons there, and this was just basically a giant roll of electrical tape. So, but it was pretty cool. So yeah, so we love going to cons. We've got one coming up next month. We'll be in Cincinnati.
Oh, nice.
Looking forward to that one. But we go to a lot a year, but we have to travel a lot to get to them. It would be awesome to be somewhere like you're at, where they're just like around every corner, it seems.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but you got to fight traffic where Lindsay lives.
Yeah. I got
she
traffic.
She can ride a bicycle to some of them, probably.
That'd be risky, to say the least, Bub. I've been to Southern California. The drivers there are everywhere.
Well, you got that little bell, right? That little bell on your thumb. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. That sucker all day.
Bub, they don't care if you bell. They don't care if you dong. They're still going to be going over you. Trust me.
Yep.
Oh, well. Well, comic family, we've done it again.
Hour and a half goes by quick.
It does go by quick. It really does. That's not what our average viewer watch time says, though. I think we clock in generally about 2.5 minutes. So that's what.
Well, we're way over that average this week because of our special guest. I really think.
Yeah,
I think so too. Thank you, Lindsay. Yay!
Yeah, thank you guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for being on as our not so special guest. As our special not so special guest. It's funny too because when I was trying to come up with a name for the No Faces comic chat, right?
Yeah.
I was soliciting names from everybody, and I got a lot of, Faceless Man or the Ghost Man or stuff like that. And I kept saying, that sounds great, but I really want to have Lindsay on. And Lindsay probably, even though I know there's women in the X-Men and stuff like that, but for the most part, I wanted it to be a relatively gender neutral name just for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why I didn't end up going with any of those names. And then I figured when we get down to it, on a weekly basis, I just give the team a name every week. So that's why the titles look the way they do. So you're in the hands-on comic club instead of the hands-on comic man or something like that. So I'm really glad to finally have you on the show. I hope we can have you again if your work schedule permits. I know it's hard for the West Coasters to join at this time slot. A lot of people are still at work. So
yeah. Okay.
But love to have you on again. Just let me know when you're available, and we'll get you on. I'll bump somebody. No. We'll do what we can.
Yeah, it was awesome having you. It really was. I've been a big fan of yours for. I always tell this about the guests. I'm sorry. I'm a big fanboy. I just love to see your videos, and that's just the long and the short of it.
Thank you.
Awesome. And DS, glad to have you back from vacation.
Yes, awesome to be back. This is a great show. Lindsay, thanks for being here. And
thank you.
Yeah, this is just really turning into the highlight of the week for me.
Amen.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I hope everyone in the chat and our guests have as much fun as we do, because I just have a ball. I look forward to it all day Monday, and I can't wait all day. People are like, "Hey, can you go do this after work?" And I'm like, "Nope, sorry, I'm busy. I got stuff to do."
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I got to turn away all kinds of things because there's no way I'm giving this up.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh,
all right, guys.
Tat got in.
Hey, Tat.
End.
No, you can catch it on the rewind. That happens to me when he does his live shows. I tend to butt in right at the last 3 seconds. He's like, "Thanks for everybody," and I'm like, "Oh man."
Oh yeah, I do the same thing with him. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I gotta
everybody.
check out.
Yep, we're all checking out. All right.
right.
Thank you all, and come back again. And I've enjoyed the No Faces chat, and we'll catch you all again next week, same time, same place. See y'all.
Right.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks.